Alright, hey everyone, Metaverse Philosopher here again. Today we're going to be doing a new series, Vibecoding. So, a lot of these AI tools have become quite the rage lately, and today I'm going to be using Gemini AI to create a RuneScape prototype. I was such a big fan of RuneScape back in the day. I actually even used to make YouTube videos when I was younger. So I think this will be a great trip down nostalgia. For anybody that's not familiar with the game, it's basically a point-and-click Java-based game. It was one of the really OG MMOs, right? There was RuneScape Classic, there was RuneScape 2, I think RuneScape 3 is out right now, and now they also have an old-school RuneScape, which is the one that I played back maybe, oh my gosh, maybe at this point it's around like 10, 20 years ago. But essentially, you know, it's a game where you know, you can kind of collect items, put them in your bank, you're killing monsters, classic kind of role-playing game, and yeah, I just have so many good memories with it, so I figured why not try out with Vibecoding. So, alright, I want to tell you what's going on here. Essentially, I have a free trial to Google Gemini, which is a suite of different AI tools that allow you to use a chatbot, kind of like ChatGPT. You can use their video and image generation models. I think the newest one's called VO3. That's the one that you see on social media where you'll see a pretty darn good like 8-second AI reel. And it even actually has audio too, which is kind of cool. But I noticed that there was a cool feature they had called Canvas, and essentially it allows you to code using natural language, aka vibe coding, and then you can actually execute your code as well in a preview they have right in browser. So that's what I'm actually doing here. Like if you look at this prompt I'm giving, it's basically, I told it to make like a point-and-click RuneScape-style game, and then it just goes all on its own, right? You're just literally texting and prompting with this thing, and then you'll notice the first few passes that I had, it actually had bugs, but they made it so easy that you can actually just troubleshoot the bug live just by clicking a button. Look at this. It's actually rendering now. It was able to find the bugs. Look, root cause was a capsule geometry, fix that core issue to a cylinder geometry, whatnot. And then yeah, now I don't want to, you know, a cylinder as a character anymore, so let's go ahead and change that to a humanoid, kind of like RuneScape. But you can see how, you know, this allows you to prototype in real time. And again, like my coding background, I have a little bit, mostly self-taught. I did take a course or two in school. Mainly like Python based is my background, so I don't really know too much about Java. I don't really know too much about you know, this type of game dev, and like I think it's using like an open source game engine that it basically is scripting that on the fly, and like you can see how like you can click details into like its thinking process for what's happening. So okay, look at what's happening. Okay, got the map. Look, more errors here. Cores issue. Oh yeah, it's like, I don't know too much about this, but it's basically was trying to import different characters via the CDN, but I think it was blocked a lot of time. Okay, so it looks like it actually worked on this one, but now like, okay, it's kind of weird, and you'll notice that I will actually send screenshots to the prompt to see that it's not working, because I think that's one thing that Gemini does not have access to right now, is being able to actually see what's happening, right? So you'll see some interesting bugs where it's like, okay, can you animate the character? It's just kind of sliding. Another error here. Let's see what's going on. Okay, show thinking. It finds the actual function. And I love how it's like literally showing in real time what's being generated. And I'm sure anybody that's more savvy with code can go ahead and look through that. Now look at this. Okay, so it is moving and it is animated, but it's running backwards. It's pointing in the wrong direction. So I actually tell that directly to Gemini. So like, look, yeah, it's a nice animation, but he's running backwards. You know, just like in the screenshot. Can you fix it? And then it does, which I find really cool. Like, I don't know too much about coding to like be able to do something like this. Oh my god, I can't even imagine how long it'd take me to learn the framework, you know, debug, whatnot. I just think it wouldn't be possible, even for somebody like me that has a little bit more of a background and familiarity with this now. But yeah, let's take a look. Okay, that's so cool. Like, can you give him a sword? I want him to fight a dragon. So that was, I remember back in RuneScape, there was that big quest Dragon Slayer that gave you access to the rune plate body. That was a really hard one. I remember getting absolutely smoked by the dragon a few times. And yeah, that was one of my core memories of having fun with that free-to-play game. So in this prototype, I just want to see, like, okay, how long does it take to make those kind of prototypes using some of these AI tools? That's one of the great things that I love about tools like Gemini, ChatGPT, you know, a lot of these other free, basically, you know, completely easy to use AI models, is that they totally democratize your ability to build things, right? And in this case, we're coding and doing some, you know, basic game engine work, but I, as a layman, just coming in and just having an idea for what I want to see, and then able to just use natural language, iterate with this AI, and then look at this. It made a dragon. It doesn't look that good, right? It's kind of looks funky. It's strange, facing the wrong direction. And look at this. Okay, I actually tell it. And you know, this is an homage to Yu-Gi-Oh! I say let's make it a Blue Eyes White Dragon, because I'm such a big fan of that show too. So okay, so yeah, you can see how, you know, that original script that it generated was only a few hundred lines, and now it's growing and growing and growing. So that's one thing I'm kind of curious about as we really push some of this vibe coding to the limit, is, you know, what is the context and token window limit that it's able to actually understand. But so far it's doing a much better job. Like the second pass of the dragon, I told it, like, you know, why is it so black in skin for the dragon when I said blue eyes white? And then it talks about, like, oh, like, you know, there is something with the shadow and the shade that's being casted, and it's not perfect, right? You'll see in this lengthy video that there were so many instances where I told it very directly what it needed to do, but then, you know, it was not able to do it, right? There's an error, another console bug, and I went through so many errors related to this CORS error. Does anyone know what this is in detail? It's, I think, something to do with CDN and using you know, publicly sourced models that you can actually, like, access, I think, in this Gemini, like, web-based executable. But yeah, I did that so many times trying to get one. It just couldn't get it. But, you know, eventually what I do is I tell this model, like, hey, like, scrap that, forget about trying to get it from some CDN open source website, and just try to render it yourself, just using rendering. I think it might be like node.js. I mean, I could be wrong about that too. I'm definitely not an expert. I do have some Unity experience, but a lot of this is, like, totally abstracted away. So yeah, it was kind of cool just for me, like, even after this exercise, just looking through the code, trying to understand what's happening in it. And I think that's going to be the basis for a lot of startups and people now that want to see their ideas come to life, is you have so many of these AI tools that just allow you to concept and prototype on a rapid basis. Like, I'm showing you this video now. I mean, I think it only took me probably an hour to make this vibe code towards the end, and I'm really excited to show you what actually came up with at the end, because it was pretty impressive. So yeah, I'm actually thinking about potentially making this a recurring series, kind of like my Vision Pro videos, where I will test out different AI models and let y'all know what I think. You know, Gemini in particular, I hadn't used it too much over the past year, because I know it got a pretty bad rap. I think when it first launched, it was very, very buggy, and there were a lot of, like, headline media bugs where I was kind of like, okay, I don't want to use this too much. I'm more of a ChatGPT kind of guy. But then I was very curious about VO3, the video generation model, and then I was like, okay, well, looks like they're offering a free trial. Might as well check it out, right? I think the video generation model that it makes is better than OpenAI's generation model, and actually it had audio. That's what I thought. It was super cool. I would see these funny reels and shorts on social media of, like, you know, some pretend newscaster and somebody trying to hawk some good or sell something. But I was pretty amazed by just, like, how realistic a lot of the AI, people and the voices were. So like a UFC Octagon interview, kind of similar themes. And I'm pretty sure those models might be trained on YouTube's videos, actually, that video data. And that's why I was pretty impressed, actually. I think Google and Gemini, they definitely have a pretty significant data advantage in these AI wars. They just, they talk about this data is the new oil. I mean, it really is. Like, you want to create very realistic models at scale that have all these use cases, then, you need to have more data. And look at this. Actually, I was able to get that dragon. Look at that, wings flapping. But this is one of those, shortcomings of the AI in its current form is like, you see it flapping its wings, but it doesn't know that it's flapping it at the center of the wing rather than at the actual pivot that it should be on its shoulder. So that's what I'm telling it, right? It should be moving on the shoulder. Talks about the animation flow, animation system. It's very meticulous, the way that kind of goes through all these details. Again, like, I cannot even imagine how long this would take to do, as somebody that doesn't know coding too well. But the fact that, we can just do it very quick on the fly like this, I love it. So yeah, then I talk about kind of a collider system that it should create, right? It's kind of going through the tree, but we don't really want that. So yeah, it talks about adding a collision detection system. I know about that a little bit through Unity, so, that kind of makes sense to me. And then, yeah, just like seeing it generated on the fly is really cool. Okay, so all right, so now it's working a little better. It's moving. Okay, so now I start to get into some more of the more advanced features, where I want to polish a little bit of the movements and add a fighting system, because again, that RuneScape Dragon Slayer quest, right, with the anti-fire shield, that's something I'm always going to remember doing that and getting that rune plate body. You can't have that rune chain, So, okay, I talk about like old school RuneScape scales of damage. I think typically humans could have at most 99 health, and then dragons, probably maybe 2 or 3x that, around like 300 or so. So then I gave it some instructions, like I want to give it a sword, an animation when it attacks, whatnot, health bars, the player attack, the dragon attack, death animation, some combat logic, like going back and forth at a certain cadence. So yeah, I give it all that detail. But what I noticed when you give these AI models a lot to do at once, a lot to bite off instead of a little bite, is it usually creates an error, right? Because like a lot of them, it's just generating the next most likely token of text that it expects. And then even like a human, like, you tell me to do one thing, 2 things, all right, I'm gonna remember. You tell me to do 50 things to 100 things, I'm probably gonna forget, right? So I would say, like, when you're working with these kind of models like Gemini, try to give it just like a little bite at a time. So okay, I'm kind of going a little bit, continuing to troubleshoot. Not really sure what's going on here. Again, like, when you give it too many variables for it to solve for, it just gets harder and harder for this model. But I keep kind of pushing my way through. I do love like how this can be executed directly in the browser. But actually, this is when I noticed, like, okay, why is the screen just turning white? So something I noticed with Gemini is, like, I think I just was using it way too much, and then for whatever reason, the preview of the code would not execute. So I realized a few minutes in, let me just refresh my browser, and then that actually fixed it for some reason. So yeah, Google, there's a bug right there, but it's not really too big of a deal. Yeah, just go ahead and just keep clicking. All right, still not working. Okay, how about we forget about the attack animation? Let's just start with no animation from a previous version. Okay, so like, if things aren't working well, then literally just tell it, like, hey, like, forget about what we were doing the past few prompts. Let's just go back. Let's just start from scratch. Yeah, I think some things it's going to be tough for the AI to solve, right? So, just again, one little bite at a time, one little thing. If I continue building this game beyond the prototype, that's what I would do, is you literally dissect the game you want to build. In this case, RuneScape. Start with one thing at a time, right? Graphics, movement, animations, attack system, inventory system, camera, right? So look, okay, I worked it, but now the camera is not working. So yeah, just like randomly too, it would just introduce some like strange bugs. And again, I don't think Gemini has the ability in real time to see the video of what it's generating and then be able to make kind of coherent assessments, you know, whether it's doing it correctly. I think that would be a huge next step for this. But the fact that this can even just do it, like, you know, Altman and a lot of these AI leaders, they talked about like AI software engineers, like the future. I mean, this is what we're seeing here. Look at this. I mean, we're rapidly I'm basically telling this engineer what these bugs are, and it's just fixing them in real time. And all right, so the fire animation's working, and the hit point system is working for my own character, but not for the dragon. And then once you die, you kind of start falling through the ground in this like unlimited gravity to the depths, right? So then I say, okay, kind of interesting. I tell it like one issue at a time, like where the heck did the wings go? It looked good. The player's barely doing any damage. The fire breathing is coming out of the tail. Okay, it's starting to look a little better. Okay, still didn't fix the tail. I'm still not doing damage. So that's kind of interesting. So then I just, again, I sent it a screenshot, and I just say it very directly, like, it's not doing it. I don't see the dragon's health going down at all. But, you know, you can see how, from when I first started, again, with literally nothing, no background, no experience, just text, verbal description of what I want to see come to reality. And now we're working at it one step at a time, you know, and this AI, it's kind of like building a house, right? It's putting everything down brick by brick. Sometimes it's going to put the brick down sideways, for real, but you know, like if you just tell it, hey, like that brick's sideways, just fix it to the right way, it is able to fix it, which is what I'm really impressed about. And like, you know, this is not just kind of like you know, GitHub Copilot or a cursor that's just in your VS Code or whatnot. Like, this is the full service. Everything's being executed, it's doing it all its own, and you're completely using natural language prompting to build these pretty sophisticated games, like, right? I mean, I just started this like less than 1 hour ago, and look how far it's already gotten. So, okay. Oh, and actually now you can hear some of the noise coming through, right? Because I asked it to add some noise to the actual character here too. So, no, this is what I love, right, about these tools, is like, you're able to create anything that you want to create. So, you know, once I said, okay, create some noise sound effects, then I started saying, okay, why don't you go ahead and then make some music, right? Like, I used to love the RuneScape music, and I've been playing it throughout this video. So relaxing, and, you know, that simple style of the trumpet and melodies and kind of a medieval vibe. It adds a huge element to any game. So, you know, I'm continuing to work through some bugs here. Yeah, I should keep attacking it, but then, you know, it's not really working. And then, okay, so I asked here, all right, let's add some music. Like, what the heck do we have to lose? Let's add some music here. All right, so, you know, it's continuing to code here, and then what happens ultimately is we do get some music. It's not the best music, but it's a good start, and basically it just composed it on its own on the fly, which I found really impressive. It found some audio library, did some logic about the different melodies that a certain, you know, RuneScape-like you know, melody should sound like, and then voila, we start seeing this game as a prototype with music, with sound effects, with the attack system working properly. And look at this, right? I mean, it's not the best game, it's not polished for sure, but it has the makings of something that works. And look at that dying animation, and then you see it spinning around and falling into the abyss. But that's pretty cool, right? And like, I'm sure that you could create a, you know, drop system, an inventory system. So you kill the dragon, you pick up the bones, you pick up the dragon hide, and you can see how this really has the elements of a game now, right? We started from absolutely nothing but an idea, less than 1 hour ago. And now we have a prototype where you can actually give this to someone. You can give it to a kid and say, hey, like, check out this game, and he'll know how to play and he'll hear the music. That being said, I did want the music a little longer because, you know, you want it to sound a little bit less monotonous. So look at its thinking, it refining the musical direction. I'm thinking about the music now. The comp system is solid, but the current theme feels rudimentary, aiming for something more substantial. So it increases the musical scope using some sawtooth library here, different loops, and yeah, you go ahead and you see this thing, it starts coding again. It creates a new melody, and actually I find GPT and you know, Gemini AI, like a lot of these LLMs, their ability to make music is actually pretty darn impressive. Like, I don't know how it's able to do it. I guess just through, you know, people online over the years, the semantic data that was created on Reddit, maybe other you know, forums where musicians are discussing chord progression. I guess that's what makes it kind of seamless, right? It's like you'd think that you'd play the music and it would have no sense of melody at all, but it actually sounds pretty good. And you'll see from this refined version that it sounds pretty darn good. Like that's something that I thought was pretty cool. The fact that it can get this audio system done pretty darn well, if I do say so myself. And yeah, again, like, you start playing this game and look, I feel like I'm back on playing RuneScape again, back on Karamja, doing the Dragon Slayer quest. And you know, I think just like for a prototype beta of Google Gemini Canvas, I'm really impressed. I hadn't seen a coding AI tool that is as end-to-end as this one, where you can literally come in with no experience, no background at all, and you can make a prototype of a 3D point-and-click game like RuneScape in just a matter of minutes. So yeah, really excited to see where this tech goes next, and I'll definitely be doing more Vibecoding AI videos and other AI product reviews if y'all are interested. So yeah, thanks so much again for watching, and see y'all next time.